handicap Super Bowl 59 as the Eagles take down the Chiefs for the franchise's second Lombardi trophy, with quarterback Jalen Hurts being named Super Bowl MVP.
A huge upset in men's basketball. The number 3 Florida Gators toppled the number 1 Auburn Tigers. We'll break down some college hoops and more.
And 2 of the top teams in the Eastern Conference square off in the city that never sleeps. We have the highlights and more as Sports Corner comes your way right now. From the Franklin Hall studio on the campus of Kent State University, this is Sports Corner, alongside Blake Kalosha, filling in for Liv Sharp. My name is Matt Caroli, and Blake, we have a stacked show on tap this evening.
Yes, we do, Matt. Super Bowl last night and a lot of hardwood action.
But we are going to start down in North Carolina on the diamond because the Kent State softball team ended their opening weekend with a walk-off victory. The Flashes faced off against UMass on Sunday at the Camel Stampede. The Flashes entered the bottom of the second, trailing by 3 runs, and ended the frame with their highest scoring inning of the year. UMass returned with runs in the 3rd, 5th, and 7th innings respectively to take back the lead at 9-8. Cam Uttendorf executed a sac bunt, allowing the Flashes to load the bases, and an error allowed her to score the winning run. Kent State will head to Coastal Carolina for the Battle of the Beach.
The Kent State women's lacrosse team suffered their first loss to George Washington University this weekend. The Flashes started their season with a win against George Mason U on Friday. They were not able to keep that momentum and lost 13-6. The Flashes play Mercyhurst this Sunday before they come home to Dick's Stadium on February 20th against Presbyterian.
The Kent State men's golf team headed to Mobile, Alabama today. The Flashes begin their spring season with the Hal Williams Intercollegiate Contest at Magnolia Grove Golf Club. Kent State faces off against 13 other schools and is ranked 4th amongst the field. This is the 5th time Kent State has competed in the event. Last February, the Flashes finished 12th out of the 14 teams competing.
The Kent State track and field team came out with vengeance at the Judd Logan Giver Open on Saturday. Junior Grace Adagoki and senior Liam Viskovich swept the high jump competition. Both athletes won first in their respective competitions. The Flashes also took first in the women's long jump. Keely Dunaway earned a victory with a jump of 18 feet and 8.5 inches. The Flashes host the Doug Raymond Invitational this weekend at the Kent State Fieldhouse.
The Kent State gymnastics team defeated Northern Illinois in a dual meet on Friday. This was the team's 3rd straight MAC win and remain undefeated at 6-0 on the year. Kent State held the top 3 scores on the bars with Heidi Schultz and Nastia Rudnitskaya tying for first with a score of 9.775. Kent State tied for first on the vault as sophomore Nene Alvine led Kent State with a score of 9.825. Kent State earned their best team score in any event in the 3rd rotation of this meet. Alyssa Guns once again led the Flashes with a score of 9.9. This is her 3rd meet in a row with a 9.9 or better on the floor. The final rotation for the Flashes was led by sophomore Ashley Morgan, who earned a 9.825 to win the event. Next week, Kent State heads to Piscataway, New Jersey to take on Rutgers and Michigan in a tri-meet.
Kent State women's basketball team was on the road this weekend as they faced off against Troy on Saturday. Sophomore Janae Tyler scored a career high with 28 points. The Flashes were down by 11 when Tyler hit 9 out of 12 shots from the floor. Led by Tyler's performance, the Flashes totaled 48 points in the paint, and Jenna Batch finished the game with 20 of those points. At the end, Troy fell to the Flashes 84-73. The Flashes return to conference play this Saturday against Miami of Ohio.
And coming back to Kent, the men's team took down Arkansas State 76-75 in an absolute thriller. The Red Wolves had 2 chances for a game-winning layup, but came out just short to improve the Golden Flashes to 15-9 on the season. Jalen Sullinger had a great day in the office, putting up 27 points. Kent State is back in action Tuesday night at home versus Central Michigan. All right, Blake, and you were on the call for that
Yes.
game. So what were
What a
your
game.
observations from Saturday afternoon at the MAC?
Well, it was round 2 of the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. First round, we knocked off Louisiana and their home territory. Now they came home at the MAC Center and played a terrific game against Arkansas State, who is atop the Sun Belt right now. They were led. They were without Von Cameron Davis and Anthony Morales, two guys that have been in the starting lineup for quite a while now, and everybody stepped up. It was a whole team effort. As you said, Sullinger led the way with points, but another guy that really had a great game was Jamal Sumlin. He was insane at the end of this game on the defensive end, and then came down, knocked 4 big free throws in to give Kent State that lead, but they had to go against Isaiah Nelson, who has been an absolute terror for Arkansas State in the paint. He had 2 big dunks earlier to get Arkansas State within that 1 point, and they had a chance to win it at the end of the game. He puts it up, misses the first one, gets his rebound with a second opportunity, and it rims out. And guess who? Jamal Sumlin was there to grab the offense, to grab the rebound and secure that W.
Yeah, and it just seems to me like this men's team has just been so competitive.
Yes.
And especially like Saturday's game. But with Jalen Sullinger, he's had kind of a resurgence, if you will. His play has been just on a whole other level in terms of him scoring the basketball efficiently.
I mean, you're totally right. He has stepped up on the offense and the defensive side. He doesn't get a lot of respect for his defense, but he is one of the top guys in steals. He is hustling the entire time. He had a really tough matchup today against that game against Joseph Pinion, who has been shooting lights out from three-point land, from top of the Sun Belt. He has been great on both sides of the ball, and it showed against that Arkansas State team.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that, when you take a look at the last 3 years, Kent State has been in the MAC title game in all those years. And now you look at this crew, it's a totally different cast of characters aside from guys like Von Cameron Davis, Jalen Sullinger, and along with Claron Hornbeek.
Yes.
And everyone else, it seems totally different, but this is a team that when you have a head coach like Rob Senderoff, who has been here since, I believe, at least 15 years.
14th season, so almost there. One more.
Season.
He will be here for his 15th.
Tried to get it
sure.
off the dome. Hey, you know
close,
what?
Very
it's all right.
close.
They'll always find a way to be there in March.
They do, and it's because of Coach Senderoff. He starts slow at some of these seasons, and that's why they're not always at the top of the MAC. But by the end of the year, they have this team playing like they can win the MAC almost every year. And when it comes to Cleveland, nobody wants to see the Golden Flashes.
Yeah, and speaking of Cleveland, talking about a team that won in that city this past March, the women's team.
Yes.
They are really sound, especially with the way that, there are some teams where their offense revolves around a certain player, and you can definitely make the case for Jenna Batch, who has had a really stellar last number of games, but overall it doesn't seem like there's any one player that kind of takes over that Kent State offense when you look at the year as a whole.
I mean, you're totally right, because Riley Rismiller, who was a transfer out of Dayton, Todd Starkey was raving about her this offseason and how much work she's put in, and it's shown, as she has just been a terrific asset down low for the Flashes, which everybody thought Jenna Batch was going to have to carry that load of scoring this year. It's been Janae Tyler and Riley Rismiller down low who have really commanded the paint and given Kent State such a good opportunity to go out and win the MAC again.
Yeah, it'll be fun to kind of see how that all unfolds, as it is basketball season in full swing, and we love that here at Kent State.
Yeah, but right before that, we still have a little bit of football. This weekend was one of the biggest events in the world of sports. The Chiefs took on the Eagles in the Super Bowl. We'll tell you how it went down after the break.
We know you work hard, so come spend your lunch with us at the Bistro on Main. We've been serving the community for 3 generations. Only a quick 10-minute drive from Kent State's campus. Make your breaks count at the Bistro on Main, where friends become family.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now.
No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite.
Unearth hidden passion.
Come on, we'll have a good time.
And seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic.
Change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. And make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Evan Schofield, and this weekend was the biggest night in football. The Eagles and the Chiefs faced off in New Orleans, and I'm here to break it down for you. After 21 weeks of waiting, we're here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Super Bowl 59. The Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes try to go for the three-peat. This team, the Philadelphia Eagles, try to spoil it. And after a 28-yarder to Jahan Dotson, that tush-push never fails. Jalen Hurts gets Philly on the board from a yard out. And this isn't a familiar sight for Kansas City. Mahomes is going to drop back, scramble, he's going to zip it. That's picked off. It's Cooper DeJean. He's not a safety. He is the #1 DB. There he goes. He takes it back on his birthday. Happy birthday, Cooper DeJean. Pick 6. Philly up 17. After a second Mahomes pick, Hurts has all day. That's A.J. Brown. That definitely consisted of inner excellence. See what I did there? Philly up 24 whopping points. It's the third quarter. It's a good lead. They may just run the clock or not. This might be the dagger. It's a missile to Devontae Smith. That's a touchdown. 46 yards. All right, doesn't seem likely. Kansas City comes back and Mahomes is blown up. It's another turnover. And there it is. Alex Isaiah, this one's for you. The Philadelphia Eagles have won the Super Bowl. They're second in franchise history.
All right, little Alex Isaiah shout out.
There it is.
The old producer of this show and a diehard Eagles fan. So, Evan, the NFL season, whether you like it or not, is officially over.
done,
and I'm
man.
sure it's not. But what were your thoughts on Super Bowl 59?
Yeah, well, one thing stands out about last night, guys, and it's that Philadelphia defense. It was incredibly dominant. The defense is the key, and like Jalen Hurts said in his press conference after the game, defense wins championships. He repeated that a few times, and it was good to know that. I got a note, Mahomes, he dropped back 41 times, and the Eagles did not blitz one time. Not one blitz package. They got to him 6 times. Mahomes has never been sacked 6 times in any career game he's played in. Absolutely incredible. I mean, there were 16 pressures. I mean, the way Vic Fangio took that defense to a whole new level after being statistically last in pretty much every category last year, it was phenomenal. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, honestly.
Go ahead, Blake. Start with you.
You know, it was a surprise. So I'm going to be honest with you. I did not see this coming. If you watched Blake's Best last week, I had the Chiefs winning it by 1.5. I mean, the Eagles did everything right on defense. They had nobody open, Chiefs-wise. Xavier Worthy did get open a few times at the end, but in total, it was just locked down. A terrific job by Eagles defense, and the offense did enough without Saquon having many yards.
Yeah, and I mean, gosh, like you mentioned it earlier, the fact that none of us could have seen this coming. My whole stance on when people ask me who's going to win the Super Bowl every year is the fact that, look, it's going to be the Chiefs until they can beat themselves. And in a way, they kind of did, especially with Mahomes having the 3 turnovers and just Philly playing stout all day. And it's weird because the Eagles weren't the Eagles this entire year. Saquon was limited. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. But Jalen Hurts played like a different human being. Unbelievable. Very deserving of that Super Bowl MVP. We'll talk about that here in a second as well. But, yeah, it was just so awesome to see Philadelphia with that team. They make the move to get Saquon, and it pays off for them in the end.
Yeah. Evan, I got a question.
Yeah.
So both quarterbacks had a different game on Sunday.
Of course.
Either of questions or concerns for either team at the quarterback position?
Man, obviously, we can't deny the greatness Mahomes has. His first few years as a starting quarterback have just been incredible. But you can't give this guy excuses. The national media has pretty much torched him. You know, you can't give him excuses. He made some ill-advised throws, even when he wasn't being pressured, where he could have just thrown the ball away, but he's forcing balls. It didn't look like Patrick Mahomes that we have seen year after year.
Yes.
He was 21 for 32, 257, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Don't let that fool you, okay? A lot of it was garbage time. Like you said, Xavier Worthy, monster game.
Yeah.
But Mahomes in that first half looked, I don't even have a comparison for him, seriously.
33 yards, that was his lowest in career.
3 yards, he looked scared, ill-advised, but Jalen Hurts, he was calm, collected. Yes, he was deserving of the Super Bowl MVP. 17 of 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He played incredibly. Besides that one pick, he played incredibly. He made the correct throws, and I would argue it was his best game of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, for Kansas City, I don't really think there are any questions concerning Patrick Mahomes. I mean, just off that one game.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of weird because of the fact that it hasn't happened in a while. This isn't the first time that he's lost a Super Bowl, back in 2020 losing to the Bucks. Right. But it is kind of odd to see, especially with the fact that they've won 2 in a row, to see them on the other side of that scoreboard.
It just felt totally different. I mean, that team out there did not look like the Chiefs that we've seen year in and year out. And maybe, I mean, people were saying it was the referees didn't give them as many calls. DeAndre Hopkins had a bone to pick with some of the refs after. But you know what? I liked how the refs called that game. You know, it was pretty much hands off after that little ticky-tack off pass interference early on. But, you know, overall, it was just not the Chiefs that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, slow start for that officiating crew. A little bit questionable, but they got it good.
Yeah.
So, lastly, Evan, Jalen Hurts, like we mentioned earlier, Super Bowl MVP. Agree or disagree with that selection? Because there's a good amount of guys that you could have gotten into.
Matt, I would say a lot of Philadelphia Eagles players played exceptionally well, no mistakes. But I'm going to make the argument for Josh Sweat.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Early on, I thought in that first half especially, he was a big part in Mahomes. Of course, like I said, the ill-advised throws. But I would argue Josh Sweat, 100%.
Josh Sweat. Well, how about that? That is something.
I like it.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm sports correspondent Ryan Mead, here to give you your men's college basketball highlights from around the country. We had a lot of action from this court this past weekend, and let's go around and get started in South Carolina with Duke at Clemson. And let's kick things off with Dickie V returning from his battle with cancer. As we can see here, Ian Shefflin has the rock, and he's battling against Cooper Flagg, who's going to go to the NBA next year. He's going to dish it, and it's going to go in. And now Zachary dishes it to Chase Hunter, who drives to it and gets a foul from Cooper Flagg with the N1. And now freshman Dale Jones says, I got this one, nothing but net. No problem on that three-pointer. And now Cooper Flagg robs the ball, and yeah, baby, that's it, a slam dunk. What a play by Cooper Flagg, grabbing the ball and just slamming that one in there, no one around him. And now you can see here, Zachary, and now Clemson has a lead, and that is an incredible game here for Clemson, as they're somehow pulling off an upset. Cooper Flagg, though, he gets the lead back for Duke, but Clemson will hang on to this one, as the Clemson is going to storm the court here, beating the #2 team in the country.
Coach John Calipari and the Razorbacks welcomed the third-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide inside Bud Walton Arena. Aiden Holloway got it started for the Crimson Tide. He had 8 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists, nailing that contested three. Arkansas stuck around nicely in the first half, largely due to their offensive rebounding. Trevon Brazile getting in on the action, 2 points and 6 boards in 18 minutes. Alabama converted a season low in threes, only knocking in 5, but 2 big ones in the second half. First, Holloway knocked his in, and then Chris Youngblood got in on the long ball, plus the foul, 15 for Youngblood. Under 6 to go, the Razorbacks need a plethora of points against the best scoring team in the league, and they do it well. They cut it all the way to an 8-point game, and then look at this slam. Billy Richmond III cuts it to 6. Arkansas all the way down to a 3-point game with a minute left, but Grant Nelson grabbing the offensive rebound, put it back, 85-81 final. Crimson Tide improved to 9-1 in SEC play, 7 out of their 8 games against ranked opponents.
Keeping things in SEC country, a top 10 matchup in Auburn, as Dylan Cardwell and the Tigers have won 14 in a row. Middle of the first, tied at 23. Miles Kelly says, I like those odds, and nails the trade. Next time down, Kelly, again from distance. He led all scorers with 22 points. Later in the half, this is Walter Clayton Jr., who came in averaging 17 and a half. He nails that one. This one nearly from the logo, it's good. 48-38 Florida at the half. Clayton Jr. had 19. Start of the second, we go. Florida with it as Will Richard will get a nice feed to Ruben Shinyelu for the dunk. Gators up 12. Florida off the inbound. Looking, he'll go with the touchdown pass as Alex Condon twists, turns for the layup and the foul. He'll make his free throw, and the Gators are rolling as here they come up 62-47. How about Urban Klavsjar from deep? Florida up 18. Tigers looking for anything. Johnny Broom picks off the loose ball, and he'll dump it off to Miles Kelly in the corner. Kaboom! It's 74-65 Florida, but it's not enough as the Gators get number one, no more, to the Auburn Tigers. This great Gator season continues, 90-81 the final.
And now in the SEC, we have two of the best schools in the SEC, as Texas A&M is going to look to take on Missouri, and Tamar Bates passes this one to Josh Gray, who's going to find Mitchell, and he's going to slam this one home. And now Jacob Cruz is going to dish a three in there. He had a great game. He had 3 threes in this one. And now Marcus Ford dishes it to Bates. Can he make it from here? Yes, he can. What a game from him. And with less than a minute to play, A&M has the ball. They've got to find it. Oh, wait a minute. This is going to be stolen. And can he make a poster? Oh, my goodness. That was nice. Bates had an amazing game in this one. And now Wade Taylor, who seems like he's been playing in the Texas A&M forever, is going to dish this one out. He's going to get a three. Oh, my goodness. A&M takes the lead here. Look how calm he is. But Missouri has got one more chance left. And he's going to take the rebound, and he's got a chance. Off the rim, unreal. A&M pulls off this one in a crazy game.
The SEC, let's move over to the Big Ten. How about it? Coach Tom Izzo looking to tie the all-time winning record with Bobby Knight. They're going against the Oregon Ducks. Picking it up with 3 to go in the first. Ducks silenced that home crowd early. Jackson Selstad had a great game, 22 points, 3 boards as he hits that 3. Right at the buzzer, Keyshawn Bartholomew went for the deep shot and knocks it in over 6'9" Jackson Kohler. Oregon up by 14 at half. Spartans cut the lead to 4 in the first 3 minutes, largely by their out-rebounding the Ducks, as Zapala follows the Jane Richardson miss. Oregon trying to stop the bleeding. Supreme Cook is going to do just that as he backs down Zapala for the deuce, even fighting off that double team late. Cook contributed 7 points and 2 boards off the bench. The Ducks gained back an 8-point lead. Jace Richardson says, hold on a minute, and as TJ Bamba looked like he was guarding Richardson on an ice rink right there. Richardson not done yet. He had a career high 29 points, and he's going to put it away for Michigan State as Tom Izzo picks up career win number 353.
All right, so Ryan, which bubble teams that are kind of in, kind of out in terms of making the tournament do you think are going to sneak into the big dance this year?
Well, so far we've seen a lot of love from these SEC teams. Arkansas has been getting a lot of love. They have 10 losses already, which is really concerning. Then we have other schools like North Carolina, which also has 10 losses, and they've been getting a lot of love. They're on the bubble right now, looking in. But I also really like to see some of these smaller schools. VCU has had an impressive year. They've been able to get some really big wins. I think they're one of the hottest teams right now. And I think they can sneak in on the bubble, even though they're looking in right now, which at this point, we are still a month away, and we got plenty of teams. So much is going to happen. So the bubble really doesn't mean a whole lot, but I think we're going to see some interesting action here for this last month.
Now, Ryan, which teams do nobody want to play this March?
Well, when I say this is to probably nobody's shock that watches basketball, but this is St. John's year. They have been on a tear. I mean, they have not lost a game since, January? They had a huge test, 2 huge tests this week when they played Marquette and UConn. And everyone at ESPN was saying, oh, they're only going to win one of these games. Don't worry about this. They beat both of them, so now what do we say about them? Yeah, I think they're one of the hottest teams right now. You do not want to play this team.
Any teams that you think could be going home round 1 of March Madness and are on upset watch?
Well, one of these teams we actually had highlight earlier, Alabama, has not looked great so far.
Interesting.
even though they have had some good wins, they've beaten some other teams, but Arkansas has not looked good. I don't really like what Arkansas has been doing, and they had a very close game with them. I think that Alabama has had a weird year where they've been able to beat teams, but they've not really had a resounding win that makes you want to say, oh yeah, this team can beat some teams. They should be a 1 seed. I think that they might honestly get upset either round 2, or maybe even Sweet 16. Which, if you're Alabama, I mean that's not really what you want to have. Is you're probably going to be a 1 seed in the tournament. So being upset is not really fun.
Made the Final Four a season ago. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan. With the All-Star break up ahead this week, the NBA saw some incredible matchups this past weekend. We'll tell you how it all went down.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Well, look who decided to join us. Gage Roman, Michael Neenan here, talking a little NBA. We'll get into a little around the association here. So we'll start off with 2 teams that are really trying to break through. The Spurs and the Magic down in Orlando. San Antonio 22-27, Magic 25-28. We'll go to the 4th quarter because this was a good one. You're going to want to watch this. Spurs up 5. How about Stephon Castle throwing it down? 96-89 Spurs. A few minutes later, San Antonio up 2. Loose ball, but Anthony Black from distance. He had 20 off the bench of 8 and 9 shooting. Magic with the lead. Now, the game is tied. Harrison Barnes, put some respect on Unk's name. 13th NBA season, and the Spurs are up by trace. A minute and a half to go. 109-108 Spurs. Paolo Banchero will circle in that jumper. Magic now have the lead. Next Spurs possession, it was only going to be a matter of time before we talked about Victor Wembanyama. Nice, tough fadeaway goes home. 111-110 San Antonio. Under 30 seconds in the 4th. Banchero, the face of the franchise. The turnaround, the make. 112-111. But one last chance for the Spurs, and it's in the ball, or the ball was in the hands, I should say, of number 1. Can he do it? No, he can't. It's over. Magic pull out the home win, 112-111.
Let's go to Atlanta now as the Hawks are taking on the Milwaukee Bucks in State Farm Arena. Onyeka Okongwu is going to get a nice feed from Dyson Daniels and slam it home Kongwu, 14 points, 12 boards, a double-double for him. With only 0.6 of a second left, Bobby Portis somehow gets it off and finishes the deuce at the buzzer. 67-54. Atlanta looked like they were giving up here at the end of the first half. Kyle Kuzma steps into a wide-open three. The Hawks must have gotten a hold of Michael's secret stuff as they stormed back in the second half. Larry Nance Jr. lobbed to Mohamed Gaya. Gaya double-double. Now, 4-point game. Ice Trae Young appears with a pure floater. The all-star replacement gets a strip on Gary Trent Jr. to ice the game. Hawks come back in the second half and knock off the Bucks 115-110. Giannis will be out through the all-star break with a calf strain.
Well. Welcome to the Mecca. The Boston Celtics take on the Knicks here in Madison Square Garden, the defending champs, as well as the best player on the defending champions. Jason Tatum blows right by Karl Anthony Towns. Tatum's putting up 27, 9-6 on the season. Will he get another first-team selection? Well, Finals MVP Jaylen Brown with Josh Hart all over him. Turnaround jumper makes it look way too easy to put the Celtics up double digits. Jason Tatum once again with a little help from Neemias Queta drills the three. Actually, Neemias Queta is the only Portuguese player in NBA history. Also, look at this, Peyton Pritchard, odds are 6th Man of the Year winner. He had 25 points on the night, the Pritching hour. Al Horford passed to a cutting Jaylen Brown. Brown had 12 points in the first half. That would be all he did, though. Karl Anthony Towns driving right by, looking down at his hands. He only had 9 points on the game, probably wondering how that's possible. And Jason Tatum, he had 7 threes on the game, as well as 40 points, including this deep three in the fourth quarter, and the 18-time champions would go on to win 131-104. I wonder, Blake, how are the 17-time champions doing?
You know, they're going to be a lot happier once those two are back on the court together. But there's one guy that played an outstanding game, and his name is Austin Reeves. He had a career night, and he started it early, splashing a heavily contested right-wing three. Luka loves it. Much more from Reeves on the way. Rui Hachimura knocked down at least one three-pointer in the 9 of the last 10. He adds on to that 24 points and 9 rebounds for Rui. Austin Reeves took over in the third, finishing inside and out. Such a pretty mid-range shooter. Then he lays it in, plus the foul. 45 points for number 15 on the Lakers. All Lakers by the fourth quarter. Tyrese Halliburton connects from distance. Halliburton finished with 19 points and 9 rebounds. Austin Reeves also added 3 steals on the night, adding an exclamation point with the 2-hand slam, and the King is loving it. Halliburton steals it. Pacers have closed this gap to 7. He throws it over to Pascal Siakam with the 2-hand slam. Lakers needed one more big possession, and they get it right there. Rui Hachimura slams it down. Exclamation point. Lakers win at 124-117.
Always fun in the association. So we are beyond the trade deadline and the All-Star break coming up this weekend. Let's go around here. Who won the first half of the season?
I mean, it's got to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. They currently have a league-best 42-9 record. You know, this was the first seed in the West last year with 57 wins, and they're even better now. This team is on pace to win, I think, about 67, 68 games. They could get to 70. Who knows? This team is absolutely disgusting. They have the best defense by a country mile. They force a ton of turnovers. They use that fast break. And, hey, they have the odds-are MVP winner as well, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's averaging about 32, 6 and 6 right now. I mean, Nikola Jokic is playing really well, but personally I think that SGA is going to end up winning the MVP award. But, you know, I definitely have to give it to the Thunder. This team is kind of reminds me of the Celtics of last year. But, Gage, I'm wondering, who do you think won the first half of the year?
Well, Michael, I'm going to have to disagree with you. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers with the probably best 1 through 5 starting lineup of all of the association. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter making his debut against the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight.
Yep.
Evan Mobley, who last I checked I was talking with Mike over there on Couch Island. Evan Mobley, folks, had 17 and 6 before the second half.
Wow.
That's insane. And I'm not even talking about the round amount of rebound. He's not really round, really the lanky round of rebound, Jarrett Allen. This is a great team, all front to cover. I mean, do you want shooting? Do you want defense? Do you want rebounding? Become a Cleveland Cavaliers fan because we've got everything, folks. Excuse me, not me. I'm not a part of the organization. But this is a team front to cover. I don't see many weaknesses. What worries me is, do they have championship pedigree? Boston Celtics do. The Milwaukee Bucks, they have championship pedigree. However, I think this is a time for a new team. The NBA has not seen a repeat champion since the Golden State Warriors when they had Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, all in their primes. I think we're honestly primed for a new champion, and if we're going to see it coming out of the East, I like the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I like that. You guys took the 2 top teams in the NBA. I'm going to go with who won the trade deadline. I'm going with the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, they just added an superstar in Luka Doncic. Now he gets to play with LeBron James too. Yeah, there's some question marks at the center. That Williams trade fell through with Charlotte. But they still have Jackson Hayes down there, which young Texas star could develop into something great. But they're playing their best basketball going into the All-Star break. Even without Luka and LeBron, they win that game against Indiana. They've picked up some good wins even before that. Now they get to play against the Jazz tonight with Luka and LeBron. I'm super excited to see what they do together.
And those are all really great picks, and I'm very tempted, to put it at the least, to go with the 2 teams like Cleveland and like Oklahoma City that are at the top of their conference, but I got to go with the Boston Celtics because of the sole fact that they are the defending champions. They haven't really lost a step. It's just that Cleveland's been so good, and the fact that they've only won a couple more games. So now you're looking at this and going, okay, why would there be any reason for Boston to not repeat, right? I sat up on here last week and said, you know what? I think Cleveland is going to overcome Boston. I think they're going to take that next step, and they're going to go to the NBA Finals. What I didn't say was they weren't the best first half team. That's the Boston Celtics.
Wow.
That's them. And I feel like for now, as we see here on 8:36 p.m. Monday, February 10th of 2025, I think it's the Celtics in the back-to-back, and I think they've won the first half.
No
pretty
problem
all-pro,
with that
Matt.
pick at all.
Yeah, it's pretty all-pro.
It's still their East.
Oh gosh,
Still their East.
definitely not hell no. Yeah. That much.
Still their Eastern Conference to lose, so they still have that crown.
Yes.
Now, Michael, surprise team of the first half.
I got to take the LA Clippers. I mean, this team, in all intents and purposes, should have been terrible. I mean, Kawhi hasn't played a lot of the season. Even when he does play, he's kind of injured. He's only averaging 16 a game. I think when Kawhi is healthy, he's a top 5 player, but he just hasn't been playing like that. And don't forget, Paul George just left in free agency. I mean, he just went right to the Sixers, got the bag, and Clippers got nothing for him. And what do you know? I mean, the Clippers are currently in a playoff position right now. Norman Powell looks like the most improved player in the league right now. Yeah, he's averaging 24 points a game. 42% from 3 on about 8 attempts a game. And James Harden, you know, he's not averaging 30 a game like he did in Houston, but he's still an elite distributor, still a guy who can run the point. He's averaging about 21 points a game and 9 assists. He's still someone that is going to go off for 30 every once in a while. Yeah. Now, he's not shooting the ball from the floor super well, but it doesn't really matter too much at the moment because right now the Clippers are also shooting the ball fairly well as well. Norman Powell's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And I think the Clippers, hey, if they go on a little run, they could win 50 games. And I don't think anyone could have seen that coming. Nope. I really just did not think the Clippers would be in this position right now.
No. Good.
Well, I'd like us to wind the clocks back a bit, about 13, 14 months ago, when the biggest atrocity in all of American sports was the Detroit Pistons. They are now at 27-26, a winning record, and the 6th seed, not the 7th, not the 8th, where you fight for that play-in. They're in the 6th seed. They brought in Tobias Harris over the offseason. They have a bunch of guards like Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley. They bring in Dennis Schroeder at the trade deadline. And now you have Cade Cunningham, who's really coming into his own. He is really certifying himself as this first pick. You know, in the early years, when Evan Mobley and Jalen Green were doing so well, we were worried, honestly. Is Cade Cunningham deserving of that first pick he got in the 21 draft? I'm going to say yes, he was, because he has certified that with an all-star nod. And I'm not going to say I'm tooting my own horn here, but I knew when they hired former Grizzly and Cavalier coach J.B. Bickerstaff that they would at least been competitive. And I know you guys did not think that. So that is why the Detroit Pistons are my surprise team.
First season with the Pistons is J.B. Bickerstaff. Blake, what say you?
He's been playing. I mean, he knows how to rebuild a team. You saw it with the Cavaliers. But I'm going to go with the Spurs. You know, I know they're still down low on there. They got De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline. I love that pickup for them, playing with Wemby, even years to come. Chris Paul, still that veteran guy who's averaging about 7.5 assists, still almost 8. So these guys, they're sitting at the 12th spot right now, only 3 games out of the play-in, so there's still an opportunity, especially with a superstar freak athlete like Wemby on the court. Those guys can make, any night miserable for those.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got to go. I'm keeping things in the West. I'll go the Houston Rockets.
Okay, I like
because,
that.
Look,
I love that pick.
I was going to go Memphis because of the fact that they kind of took a step back a season ago, and I didn't really think anything of it. But now here they are in the playoff picture in the thick of the mix. But Houston, I really didn't think anything of before this year. They're 33-20, and they have an all-star in Alperen Şengün, who America's growing to love. And he did hurt his back in the last game against Toronto. Team says he should be back for their next game Wednesday against Phoenix, but they got a good core. It's young, it's fun, and Houston has been deprived of that for a little bit. So they should have a really fun team to look forward to watching for this season. So, gentlemen, we appreciate you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. Well, everyone loves some extra spending cash in the pocket. Blake's best bets look to add to the bankroll next on Sports Corner.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Dad! Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth. Every day and every night. Now it's your parents' turn. Here's what you gotta do. Let them have your toothbrush so that they can brushy brush your teeth. Good job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Help your teeth stay healthy. Brushy brush with a grown-up every day.
Welcome back. Did you think just because I was anchoring we would not make some money this week? Well, you were incorrect, because it's time for Blake's Best Bets. We started off this year strong with my first best bet on the season hitting. It was pretty much of a no sweat as Jahan Dotson's receiving touchdown was called back, ruled down at the 1-yard line. Philly did not try anything special this time as they lined up in tush-push formation and Hurts found the end zone on first down. Now let's look to stay undefeated this year as we switch over to the hardwood. Luka Doncic will be making his Laker debut tonight against the Jazz at 10:30. I was too nervous to take any Laker props as this will be the first time we see them with Luka on the court, but I did find a player prop for the Jazz that I really like. For my best bet, I am taking Walker Kessler to have over 11.5 rebounds. Kessler is returning to action tonight after missing Saturday's loss to the Clippers due to a left shoulder contusion. Before that, the Utah big man averaged 15.2 rebounds in his last 5 games. With Jackson Hayes on the inside instead of Anthony Davis for LA, I really like Kessler to hit his line. Right now you can get his over in boards at plus 105, odds courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook. They are subject to change. I do believe the Lakers will ultimately win this one, but Kessler will get the job done for us. Well, that's a wrap for Blake's Best Bets this week. Remember to only spend what you can, never chase your losses, and have a great time watching the games. Odds courtesy of DraftKings, and odds are subject to change. I'm Blake Aloja, back to Matt at the desk.
Well, thank you, Blake. Looking forward to seeing some green in the bank account. Well, Corrali Chaos is coming up, along with the return of an old favorite. Stay with us.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine, and I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns, like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, you know, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero.
Good job, Kit Kat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
You can say with me, imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now.
No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite,
Unearth hidden passion.
come on, we'll have a good time.
Plant seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic.
Change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. One book can make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Well, welcome back, everybody. It is now time for our award-winning segments, so let's get chaotic to start things off. This week, I want to talk about the Kansas City run defense, even though this was Philadelphia's night in the Super Bowl 59. And don't get me wrong, we are not diminishing this win in any way for the Eagles. But Saquon Barkley, let's just face it, he was not a factor in terms of Philly taking home the title. He had 57 yards on 25 carries. So it wasn't like he wasn't getting the ball. It was just the fact that the run defense of the Chiefs swallowed him up for 60 minutes. And funny enough, a lot of people thought the Chiefs would do that. If the Chiefs were to do that, they would coast to their three-peat, myself included. But then Jalen Hurts decided to light the world on fire and win Super Bowl MVP. Again, this is not diminishing Saquon Barkley at all. He is one of the biggest reasons why they, A, got to this game and B, won it. And they had the year to even begin with. But the fact that the Chiefs' run D stopped 26 on the biggest stage was impressive, shocking, and most of all, chaotic. I feel like the people who decided Chuck Howley would win the MVP of Super Bowl V, the only Super Bowl MVP to lose the big game, but the Chiefs' defense is this week's highlight on Corrali Chaos.
Now bringing back a terrific segment, it's time for My Man on the Silver Mountain. I'm going with Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. After starting the 2023 season 10-1, Philly lost 6 of their last 7 games, including a wild card playoff matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, being in Philly, you could guess how well the fans took that losing streak. They were calling for Sirianni's head, but instead of giving up, he used it as fuel. The Eagles embraced the adversity, and with some key offseason acquisitions, finished 14-3 atop the NFC East. Throughout the playoffs, Sirianni kept his message short and simple: tough, detailed, together. They stuck to that motto throughout the postseason, and with the help of an electric offense and stout defense, the Eagles avenged their Super Bowl 57 loss and put Philly back on top of the NFL mountain. Their first time since Nick Foles pulled off the Philly special against the Patriots in 2018. With the win, Coach Sirianni's job will be secure, at least until next season.
All right, real quick, Nick Sirianni, where'd he go to college?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, really?
I don't. What is it?
Mount Union.
Oh, really?
Just about a half hour,
Okay.
40 minutes away here from campus. Yes. So, let's do a little all-pro hell no. Let's stay in the Eagles.
Okay.
All right? Since they won, and kind of looking ahead to the future a little bit, this is the start of an Eagles dynasty.
I'm going to go hell no. I think we're too early to get dynasty talks again. We had Kansas City for a long time in the AFC talking, are they the next dynasty? Now that they knocked off the Chiefs, I mean, that's a great question to ask. Are they the next ones up? I just think there's a lot of talent in the NFC that's going to be coming up. I mean, they got some great rookie quarterbacks over there. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels had a terrific year, almost brought the Commanders all the way. It was so fun. I mean, the Eagles are a great team. They have an awesome defense, like I was just talking about. Saquon coming over from the Giants just turned that team to a whole nother level. I just think the NFC is just too stacked to be able to make a dynasty.
I'm going to go all pro on this because of the fact that they dominated.
They did.
Dominated their way to a title. Everybody's coming back, and you talked about those young guns at the quarterback position. Again, they faced one in Jaden Daniels in the playoffs. And it's not like a matter, they had the regular season struggles. They won when it mattered most. It's not about the best team, folks. It's about the team that gets hot at the right time. Totally right. And I think that was the Eagles, and I think that now they've got it, they can figure it out with this core. So keeping things in the NFL, on the other side of that Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs, well, we'll talk about this later, but Patrick Mahomes will win at least 2 more Super Bowls.
I'm going to go hell no.
Okay.
I'm sticking with the hell no's. But Mahomes, it's going to be tough. Their wide receiver core with Xavier Worthy leading the way. I mean, it's okay. They're going to need to make some acquisitions around next offseason. Also at the running back position, I don't think Pacheco's the answer. Kareem Hunt's also getting older. How they played in that Super Bowl, it didn't look like the Chiefs whatsoever. And also Kelsey's getting old too. They're losing a lot of key parts, and Mahomes, as good of a player he is, we saw that he is still human in that Super Bowl. I don't think he'll win 2 more. I know it's a crazy take.
I am going to go all pro.
Okay.
Because, hear me out, he's going to win, I think, 2 when it's all said and done. 2 more.
Yeah.
To end it with 5. He'll win it in some form very, soon in Kansas City. But I think he's going to do with Tom Brady. Where he'll get older, he'll get traded somewhere, or get signed in free agency, and he's going to win it with that team, and then maybe call it a career.
Okay.
And then maybe call it a career.
I like that call.
1 more.
Yes.
Luka Doncic is making his Lakers debut tonight in about an hour, just over an hour and a half or so, against the Utah Jazz at home. The Lakers, with this acquisition of Luka Doncic, will win the NBA Finals in 2025.
I already talked about how I like them to win the West, so they're going to get there. They're going to get there, I believe.
Yeah.
But
will they get the job done?
Going to go a hat trick on hell no's in this one. I'm going to say no. I'm going to go Eastern Conference is going to take it. I think with the acquisitions like Gage talked about for Cleveland, their starting lineup is amazing. I think they take them down in the Lakers, and if they don't get there, the Celtics will be there. I think the Celtics take another title. All
right, I'm going to go hell no.
Yeah.
Because I do like the take of the East. The Boston Celtics, obviously the defending champs, seem to be poised to go back. The Cavs, they got better at the free agency, or excuse me, the trade deadline with the acquisition of DeAndre Hunter, and I like the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I do.
In terms of that. They're
young
a young,
but
fun
fun.
group.
Young
they
but
can
fun.
win. So, yeah. All right. So we're going to bring everyone back. The Immaculate Grid. This is a browser game played by many sports fans, and all of us are going to try and see if we can get each of the grid's 3 rows and columns corresponds to a professional sports team, statistical achievement, or award, and players must fill each square by selecting an athlete who meets both criteria. And for tonight's end segment, we'll have an Immaculate Grid for tonight's cast of the show to figure that out. So, gentlemen, away we go. And we have Cardinals and Ravens to start it out. Patriots, Ravens, Falcons, Ravens. For the Bears, they had to have played with the Cardinals, Patriots, and Falcons at one point. And then a 5,000-yard rusher for Arizona, New England, and Atlanta, respectively. I can give you one.
I can also give you one.
Gage, go for it.
Curtis Martin, 5,000 career rushing yards for Patriots.
That's got to be one. I wonder if we'll have a graphic or something that'll pop up. But until then,
Curtis Martin made the Hall of
I
Fame, so.
did. Oh, I don't know if Did David Johnson run for 5,000 yards? I don't think so.
I don't.
He had really killer
No.
years.
No.
Very
He was
big
very
in
good.
fantasy in terms of
And then
that.
Falcons rushing
Gosh,
could be like-
Curtis Martin. Okay, there's your New England Patriot.
Okay.
That ran for 5,000 yards.
Where's Michael on these other Patriots? Michael, it's New England. Come on.
The native of Framingham, Massachusetts.
Jet for a lot of his time.
Patriots
Yeah.
and Ravens,
Yep,
Pats and
they,
Bears.
they cooked the Pats in that divisional round game. I mean, he's always gonna hate the Pats from now on for some reason. I guess. I don't know. It is what it is. You know what? Let's see these other ones. So we got 5,000 rushing yards with the Falcons. How many great running backs have they had? Is it Michael Vick? Did he have 5,000 rushing yards?
That is a good answer. We have Curtis Martin
quarterback.
so far.
Did he?
We're checking right now in the back. We've got
Survey
Michael
says.
Vick. That could be something. Oh! We got two in terms of 5,000 yards
5,000 rusher. It's a
I mean,
QB.
All righty, we have 4 minutes. Our producer David Williams is going in my ear, being like, "You're on the
that means we
clock."
gotta speed it up a little
I'm
bit
gonna be
now.
honest. I am terrible at these games.
Me too.
I have no idea.
We need the couch.
I'm just at a brain fart in terms.
I got a
of
Cardinals Bears.
The two teams
We got
combined.
one. We got from the
Michael,
couch.
any chance in terms of Ravens and Patriots that you can get, or no?
Ravens and Patriots. I
Played in the
can't think of-
playoffs many
While you're
times, early
thinking,
2010s.
I have a Bears Cardinals.
Yeah.
Josh McCown.
Good answer.
McCown.
Good answer. I feel like it's Family
Good one.
Feud.
Good
I'm
one.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah,
Good
right.
answer. Good answer.
I mean, Kyle Van Noy. He was on
Yeah,
a Patriot and a Raven right now.
Kyle Van Noy
actually,
was
currently.
a Patriot and a Raven.
Known Celtics fan, Kyle Van Noy, by the
They're
way. Look at
updating
that.
that right
Throw
now,
that
but
out
I
there.
believe that we just knocked out two more in terms of Josh McCown for the
there
Cardinals
it
and
is.
Bears,
Love Josh
and
McCown.
Kyle Van Noy for the Ravens and Patriots.
Give it to us.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to think.
I might have a top
3
left
minutes
corner.
to go.
Evan.
Top
Yeah.
left corner. We got Hollywood Brown, who played for.
Oh,
You're right.
What
and
a
the
call.
Cardinals.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. We are dangerously close. Kyle Van Noy's on the
Noy was
board.
correct.
Bears.
That's hard.
Hollywood Brown is definitely on there.
Brian Hoyer.
So we got. All right.
Brian
Yeah,
Hoyer?
he was a
We're over halfway
backup
there now.
for the Bears
Man
and the
alive.
Pats. Super Bowl champion, Brian Hoyer, by the way. Just so we're clear.
Hollywood Brown. Very nice. And then
Hollywood Brown.
There we go.
All right.
Freeman play on the Ravens?
Patriots
Four
and
No.
Bears
Freeman.
is one that I'm drawing a blank. These two
Did they
teams
get
met in the
Patriots
Super Bowl in
Bears
the
Brian
80s.
Hoyer?
Was Devontae Freeman?
Oh
a
yeah,
Raven?
yeah.
Oh,
I feel like
Sorry,
he was.
that's why we
don't
brought
know.
up Brian
I
Hoyer
don't
in the
remember
first
him as a
place.
Raven, to be honest.
I
So
can
let's-
just listen.
I forget.
Darnell Mooney for
No, he
the.
never played
Can we get
Chicago.
Cardinals,
He was on
5,000
Atlanta.
rushing.
There were a lot of
Fact check
Moonies
on
that
this.
played
Brian
in
Hoyer.
Chicago. Brian Hoyer.
Do they have any
We have 2
better?
minutes to get 3 more.
Oh, I have one for Cardinals 5,000.
Yeah.
CJ2K.
Oh.
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson
Johnson.
was a Cardinal.
Yeah,
The
he
most
was, he
devious
was.
look from Gage Wellman after he got that he got
Oh.
it. All right, under 2 minutes, Falcons, Ravens, Falcons, Bears. We need the 2-minute offense here to come out from this cast.
That was doing really good.
I have
against
no
Falcons.
flipping
Drawing a
clue
blank.
on either
I know
one.
you're
really good.
talking
He's the
about.
slot receiver.
I am drawing a blank.
Kadarius.
No,
not Kadarius
no,
Tony.
no,
No,
no, no.
Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, there's Darnell Mooney, Falcons and Bears. We're so close. We are so close to filling this out.
Come on, man.
Falcons and Ravens. I'm trying to think of someone on defense.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney is
Darnell
correct. We
Mooney.
just
Oh,
got
see, I
confirmation. So,
should have stuck with my gut.
gosh, Ravens and Falcons. We got 60 seconds to try and figure out who was on the Falcons and the Ravens. Oh boy, let's see. Trying to think of some backup.
Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders! Unbelievable! Deion Sanders was a Raven for like 7 minutes
He was?
at the end of his career. Coach Prime, we did it!
Gage
Unbelievable
Wellman.
work! This might be one of the best moments in this show's history. I have never seen a live grid filled out. Oh, what fun.
That's electric.
That was
That was
awesome. That was
electric.
awesome, guys. Way to go. What a way to say goodnight, as that will do it for this edition of Sports Corner. We thank you all so much for watching.
For updates from us 24/7, head over to KentWire.com and be sure to tune into Overtime right here every Friday at 7 p.m. I'm Blake Aloja.
And I'm Matt Corrales saying wherever the ball flies in the air, the Kent Stater Sports Network will be there. Good night.
Good morning. morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.